Big Ten championship, 1 versus 2. And if you were to tell me or tell anyone 3 years ago that Indiana would be ranked number 2 playing Ohio State, who's number 1, both those only two undefeated teams left in the FBS in the Big Ten championship, most everyone would probably call you crazy. Indiana, huh? And this is the only Power 4 conference championship that isn't a rematch. Now, Ohio State kind of blew the doors off of Indiana last year, 38-15. Granted, that was in the shoe. That was very different personnel. I think Indiana's a lot better than they were last year. I think Indiana's a legitimate 12-0 team. They've beaten Oregon this year. And so for this game for Indiana's number 1 in turnover margin. Now, Ohio State doesn't really turn the ball over. I think they're top 10 in giveaways. They haven't played a top 50 run defense since Oregon. They're number 9 in rush offense. Ohio State's number 4 in rush defense. They're not a bad run team, but they're not gangbusters like Notre Dame is. And so they're top 2 in offensive and defensive points per game. And they are very good at stopping the run. They're the number 2 rush defense. But Bo Jackson's had 100-yard games this year for Ohio State. Indiana also very good at getting to the quarterback. Ohio State does not take sacks. Julian Saint's able to get the ball out quick. And I think in this game, and I'll talk about the Ohio State side in a minute, I think in this game, it's going to come down to bigger plays. Indiana's number 8 in offensive 20-plus yard plays. Ohio State is number 1 in 20-plus yard plays allowed. And you go to the Ohio State side, Ohio State's top 10 in 40-plus yard offensive plays. The Indiana defense is 39. And it might only take a couple of long passes. Because if you're going to put all this effort together to create this game plan, and then Ohio State's able to just throw it to Carnell Tate down the field, or to Jeremiah Smith, or to Max Clare, Brandon Inniss, name whatever player, I think it's going to be disheartening. Indiana has to limit the big plays for Ohio State. I said this as a key for the Wolverines last week, and it didn't happen. The 2 big pass plays kind of ended the game, and then Ohio State never gave them the ball back. Not literally. But Indiana, or Ohio State now, is the number 1 pass defense. So, and Mendoza's fighting for the Heisman. So, what does that mean for Indiana? I don't think they haven't. I think the best pass. They have played good pass defenses. They've played Oregon. They've played Penn State. They played Iowa, who I believe are all top 20. Ohio State is top 10 in sack rate. Indiana's 18 in sacks allowed. So both these teams are able to get to the quarterback. And another big thing is Indiana going to score touchdowns or field goals. Ohio State is number 1 in red zone defense. Ohio State is number 1 defensive points per game by more than 3 points. Offensively for Ohio State, they have not played defensively for Ohio State, they have not played a top 50 rush offense with a somewhat decent pass game. Wolverines had a great rushing game, but they didn't really have a competent pass game. And this is a huge game. Do either of these teams press? I think we know a lot about both these teams. Indiana didn't really press against Penn State because I think it was the toughest, like the closest game that they've played. And so will Cignetti press, or will Ohio State press if they happen to get down 2 scores early in this game? Who looks the most composed in a bad scenario for their team? And the big plays are going to play huge dividends in this game. If Indiana's able to chunk play it down the field, it's going to be a problem for Ohio State. I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't think Ohio State's going to be able to throw the cat busters, but they're top 10 or 5 in 40-plus yard passes.
Throughout this season, Indiana has found a way to win. Hasn't always been pretty. Penn State game wasn't pretty. In fact, it was actually pretty ugly. But they've found a way to win. Signetti's whole thing is I win, I win, I win. And looking at this team and what they've done so far this year, they went into Eugene and beat Oregon. They put together, or I guess you can say they clawed their way through Iowa, but then you look at what they did against like an Illinois, where they just ran through them. They ran through Purdue, and so I feel like this team's a very momentum based team. Like they get the ball rolling, they're gonna go, and it's just gonna be off the races. And so part of me thinks that this game could be like a 45-42 or something like that, where you just have like an insanely high scoring and both teams, I don't want to say abandoned defense, but like you have two great quarterbacks. I think the offensive guy in me wants to see them go duel and both guys throw for just a stupid amount of yards and just see the coaching prowess. I don't know if that's game management from both Ryan Day and Signetti, how they want to kind of go back and forth with each other. But the line right now, the over under is 47.5. I think the over on that's a pretty good bet. The spread is a highest. I
Hell no.
call me crazy. I will put
Hell
my money
no.
where my mouth is, and I
Hell
will sit in
no.
the bathtub.
These teams
Full.
are not scoring. You said 45-41. There's a almost 0% chance that these teams score 60 points combined. I will tell you right now. This is going to be a low scoring game.
So you don't think that? Okay. Do you think both
Ohio
teams
State
will get
hasn't.
4 touchdowns?
No.
You don't think both teams will get
No.
4 touchdowns?
No. Not a chance. Ohio State hasn't given up more than 2 touchdowns in a game this year. You think Indiana's going to score 2 or 4? They're going to double that?
I think Indiana has the ability to score 4. Yes.
They have the ability to. I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay. We'll see.
Not a chance.
We'll see.
I will. No. The under
Indiana.
is
I think is
the best bet of the weekend.
I think it's the most explosive offense in college football.
Indiana?
Yeah.
No, they're not. Look at the stats. They're not even. I don't even think they're top 30 in Catbuster plays.
I was talking points wise, but
Well, okay. I'm telling you, they, there will not be more than 5 touchdowns combined in this game. Okay, my apologies. 6. That's a better number. But no, this game is not. This game is not going to be a high scoring game. This is going to be a defensive battle. It is going to be a clock management game. Both these teams possess the ball over 55% of their games. This is not going to be a shootout. Both of these defenses are way too good for that. And this isn't Ohio State's not putting up 38 like they did last year. That's just not a thing that's gonna happen. And I don't think I think Indiana's only hit their A+ game twice this year. And Ohio State's only hasn't had to hit it this year. And you had to see it in the final drive against Penn State, and you saw it against Oregon, I think. And even then, that was still very early in the season. That was still, I think it was late September. It was week 6 or 7. Maybe 8. I don't remember. I'm telling you, this game is not going to be high scoring whatsoever. I have watched every snap of both of these teams, except for the Indiana when they played an FCS team. I'm telling you, there's not a chance that this game goes over 50 or 60 points.
So Indiana put up 27 against Penn State, 30 against Oregon, and 20 against Iowa. Given the Iowa game, I believe, wasn't the weather questionable?
No,
It wasn't.
no, it was just a game in Kinnick.
It may have been the Oregon game I was thinking of.
This is going to be it's going to be a third down game. Both these teams are top 5 in third down offense and third down defense. And the way I look at it is both of these teams have very seldomly hit their A-plus game or had to have their A-plus game. I don't know if that changes that. Both these teams are going to be probably playing their best ball this weekend. Both of them are relatively healthy. They both of these coaches are really good coaches. I think that coaching staff advantage goes to Coach Day and the Buckeyes. And call me a homer, I don't care. And I think Ryan Day's been in these moments a little bit more. He's been in the Big Ten championship before. He's been in the playoff games. I think the coaching staff is overall better. And I think this is going to be I think it's going to be like a pokey affair. Like the problem is I think the worst thing for Indiana to do is if they try to come out throwing hooks and uppercuts in this game. I don't think that's going to lend to success because then you may turn the ball over. And now Ohio State could go up 14-0 potentially. And I think this is going to be a game, and it needs to be a game for Indiana to win it, of a jab, a jab, a jab, a jab, and then they throw an uppercut. And it may hit, it may miss, it may nick them. Kind of like and how do these teams respond to getting uppercutted? And I think that's kind of how Ohio State plays. That's how they did it against the Wolverines. They had the 45-plus yard touchdown passes or whatever. And I think clock management is going to be big. Possession management. I think it's all going to be a very big thing in this game. It's going to be a very big chess match. It's kind of like the DeBoer and Kirby thing. The chess match in these two games is going to be incredibly entertaining.